Hey everybody, welcome back to Crafting and Crime Daily. I'm Rebecca, your host, and oh boy, I just sat through the sentencing of Hannah Gutierrez Reed, so I got some stuff to talk to you about. First of all, words of advice. If you ever go to jail and you're waiting for sentencing, don't get on the phone and start running your mouth, because apparently everybody's listening to them jail calls. This prosecutor, that judge, yeah, that just buried this woman. Oh my God. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about the presentation. So this is a sentencing. It is in New Mexico for the shooting death of Helena Hutchins. Now, she was shot by Alec Baldwin, and he is to be tried this summer for his part of this huge system failure. I've always called it a system failure. I said no less than probably 5-6 people who spoke at the sentencing hearing called it a system failure. This wasn't just one person. It was so many. There were so many holes in the Swiss cheese here. This was Swiss cheese. Holes everywhere. And one of those holes was Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was the armorer on the set of the movie Rust back in October of 2020 when this occurred. Now, I'm going to play for you what the judge had to say because it's insightful. It'll let you know a bit about what the jail phone calls were all about, why she is doing her sentence the way she's doing. It was pretty interesting. But I want to go through the people that spoke on behalf of Helena Hutchins. Really, really, really very sad. So first the prosecutor stood up. She talked about the jail phone call. She says, I didn't know what I was going to recommend until I listened to the jail phone calls. Anyway, the maximum sentence she could get is 18 months in prison. So the prosecutor said that she had refused to accept responsibility. She has no genuine level of remorse. And she was blaming witnesses. She was blaming the judge. She was blaming the state prosecutor. She was blaming the set medic. She was blaming the paramedics. Because one of the failures here is that they failed to intubate Helena Hutchins. That's why she died. Well, she died ultimately because she was shot. Yes, that was the catalyst that got the ball rolling. But when the paramedics got there, they intubated her improperly. The tube was in her esophagus and not in her, in her esophagus, not in her trachea, going to her lungs. She was getting no oxygen to the brain for over an hour. Of course she's dead. Yeah. Anyway, I probably would have put a little blame there myself, but not if I was the defendant. Let me just reiterate, no phone calls, anybody. I'd be like, nope, I'm not taking any calls till after my sentencing. Don't call me. Don't call me. Anyway, so it was recommended that she not get a reduced sentence. One person called it a cascade of safety violations. So we heard from some friends of hers. We heard from Joel Sousa, the producer, who was injured. And he did not place blame. He said, because everybody is asking the judge, I'll give her the maximum. This is what I want you to do. Give her the. He says, this is what I want. I want this never to have happened. I want everybody to just go back the way they were, living the lives the way that, Even in his testimony, when he took the stand, he was not blaming Hannah Gutierrez. He wasn't. And he didn't during this. He spoke. He spoke about his love of Helena Hutchins, but not about Hannah Gutierrez, which I thought that was appropriate. Because that's what it's about. How does this impact you? Then I say Gloria Allred in the bleachers. I'm like, what's Gloria Allred doing there? This woman, she's a female attorney. She's always got her nose in something, always. So the prosecutor has her come up, and apparently the family had hired her to give statements, to introduce their statements. her family back in the Ukraine. Mom, dad, sister in the Ukraine actually filmed videos where they're speaking Polish or Russian. Speaking Russian, sorry. They're speaking Russian, and you can see through closed captioning what they're really saying. And it was lengthy, and it was really well put together. Whatever filmmaker did that, because Helena Hutchins was a filmmaker, they did a great job. They really did. So we heard from them. We heard from Helena's agent. So we know from him that she leaves behind a 9-year-old son named Andros. He blamed production. He said this is production, but he also blamed Hannah. He said that she put safety on the back burner, which this is true. Then a friend of hers got up and said a lot of people didn't get to do their job right. Nobody was putting the entirety of the blame on Hannah Gutierrez, which I thought was appropriate, except the judge. Other people said this was a massive system failure, that the actions have, that, everybody's actions have serious consequences. Then we heard from Gloria and the family members. We heard from Joel. We heard from Elena's father, who even her father said in Russian, this was there were systematic, gross violations here. And he's not wrong. Then they played, the last thing the prosecution did was play this 5-minute video of collage of all these pictures of Helena Hutchins. She is a beautiful woman. I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous. But for 5 minutes, we had to listen to Pink Floyd. I love Pink Floyd, but I'll never be the same again. I mean, it was well put together. It brought me to tears, and Pink Floyd, can you tell heaven from hell? I'm terrible at Pink Floyd, but anyway, somebody got a copyright strike there. Playing Pink Floyd in the courtroom. Anyway. So Hannah Gutierrez gets up to speak, and here is what she has to say.
First and foremost, my heart aches for the Hutchins family and friends and colleagues as well. And it has since the day this tragedy occurred. Helena has been and always will be an inspiration to me. I understand she was taken too soon, and I pray that you all find peace. I am beyond grateful that Joel survived that terrible day. My heart goes out to the film industry for the devastating pain that this tragedy caused and the old wounds that have been reopened. I am saddened by the way the media sensationalized our traumatic tragedy and portrayed me as a complete monster, which has actually been the total opposite of what's been in my heart. Your Honor, when I took on Rust, I was young and I was naive, but I took my job as seriously as I knew how to. Despite not having proper time, resources, and staffing, when things got tough, I just did my best to handle it. Today, I humbly ask you to consider probation, a probation where I can contribute to society through community service, and I can continue my counseling, and I welcome any classes that you may deem necessary for me to attend. I give you my word now that I would strictly follow the rules and respect the parameters of that probation. I beg you, please don't give me more time. The jury has found me in part at fault for this god-awful tragedy, but that doesn't make me a monster. That makes me human. Thank you.
It was short, it was brief, but did you hear what I heard? Yeah, no remorse. She's not taking any responsibility. Oh, that is the wrong thing to do. Wrong thing to do. Oh my God. I don't know who prepped her on this speech, but so her attorney comes behind her and he's trying to make up for it. Oh, she's shown remorse, Your Honor. Trust me, I've seen it. You didn't see it today because yeah. So then her father what was his name? Del Reed. He's like the famous armorer. He's the leading armorer in the business. He's this world famous armorer. He's older than dirt, but he gets up. Now, where the heck was he during testimony? I kept expecting him to testify, and he didn't. He could have got up there during his testimony and said what she did was appropriate. He's got years and years and years of experience behind him. No, he gets up to sentencing, and he's mumbling, and you can't understand hardly a damn word he's saying. But he's not taking any responsibility for her actions either. Nope, she did the right thing. Mm-hmm. She didn't do anything wrong. Nope. So the judge was kind of pissed at the defendant, and you could tell. So here is the judge's ruling.
Refer to the notes and I'm not looking at tables. It's because I'm reading. First of all, thank you for your presentations. Thank the friends and family of Helena for presenting their memories and their losses of Helena. There are really three choices for sentencing before me. What the defense wants is a conditional discharge. This means straight probation, unless Ms. Gutierrez comes back on a probation violation. She won't have a felony conviction on her record, so she can continue to possess firearms. Again, unless she comes back on a probation violation and receives the imposition of the probated sentence. The second one has not been offered by counsel, but I've certainly thought of it, and it's to continue her in the Santa Fe County Detention Center. That would be for 12 months. That's all she's allowed to stay at the detention center. And then put her on probation for the rest of the time. She's facing 18 months. She's got pre-sentence confinement for about a month or so. In this scenario, she won't experience prison. She will be a convicted felon. She cannot carry a firearm under federal law and for a specific time under New Mexico law. And then there's prison, and the state has proposed at 85% of the time sentenced to incarceration based on the serious violent offense statute. For all the fanfare and pundits and finger pointing that has been going on for over 2 years, we were able to seat a jury of her peers who confirmed they could listen to the evidence received in court and determine the facts and apply the law. They found Ms. Gutierrez guilty of involuntary manslaughter. What were some of the poignant facts that came out during the trial? In her police interview, she proudly owned her position as armorer. On October 21st, 2021, chaos ended after the film crew walked off. Ms. Hutchins and others were trying to rig, if you will, how they were going to keep filming. And what was the defendant doing while waiting? She was loading Alec Baldwin's gun. Did she have enough time to load the weapon safely? Plenty. Did she load the weapon? Yes. With dummies and a live round. Did she check what she was loading? No. Why? Well, in her own words, most recently, in her jail calls, she didn't need to be shaking the dummies all the time. Did she check after that? No. And while you've heard her concerns about how she'll never work again as an armorer leading up to the trial, have her concerns changed? No. Here's what she says. This whole thing has been a character attack on her. Just recently in her allocution, I'm not a monster. And what did, where is it? They talk about how much of on the phone, she and another are talking about how much of Hannah's life that they could take up, and that this is messing up her modeling career. This is while she's incarcerated waiting for a sentence. And what does she say about the death of Helena? Hannah is dismissive of the judge talking about someone dying as a result of her actions. Hannah says she's looking at 13 months, which is ridiculous over what happened. Hannah says that people have accidents and people die. It's an unfortunate part of life, but it doesn't mean she should be in jail. A conditional discharge is not appropriate. And the second option of leaving you in the detention center would be giving you a pass you do not deserve. I did not hear you take accountability in your allocution. You said you were sorry. You were sorry, but not you were sorry for what you did. You were sorry for it and hope they can find peace. It was your attorney that had to tell the court that you were remorseful. The word remorse, a deep regret coming from a sense of guilt for past wrongs. That's not you. You're hereby sentenced as follows. Stand. I am sentencing you to 18 months of incarceration at a New Mexico Women's Correctional Facility. I find that what you did constitutes a serious violent offense. It was committed in a physically violent manner, a fatal gunshot done with your recklessness in the face of knowledge that your acts were reasonably likely to result in serious harm. You were the armorer, the one that stood between a safe weapon and a weapon that could kill someone. You alone turned a safe weapon into a lethal weapon. But for you, Miss Hutchins would be alive, a husband would have his partner, and a little boy would have his mother. Please take her.
Get her out of here. Psst, get her out of here. That was it. Done. 18 months. Okay, so she's already served a month. She has to serve 85% of that 18-month sentence. So she'll be out before 18 months anyway. But I don't disagree that she deserves some time. I don't. She wanted to just walk out today on probation. Well, the judge was like, no. Because if the judge had done that, she would have she wouldn't have any felony convictions. She would be able to own firearms in the future. As it stands now, she will be a convicted felon. She will be labeled a serious violent felon. And she will never be allowed to touch a gun ever again. Her career is over. But did I hear something about a modeling career? Mm-hmm. I was interested to see what she looked like after having spent a month in jail, because she was looking pretty darn good during the court proceedings, her trial. So somebody came and did her hair, obviously. Maybe the paralegal that's sitting next to her with the ba-ba-boom eyebrows and the eyelashes probably did her hair. But modeling? I don't know. Just saying. Okay. After she serves her 85% of 18 months. Anyway, so that's it. More on this case when we get to the trial of Alex Baldwin. Yeah. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Tomorrow is going to be a Chad Daybell catch-up day. So we'll see you then. Bye, everybody. Take care.